welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so if you're tracking generative AI at all, you know things are moving fast, like really fast.
Oh, absolutely. The days of those jittery, weird AI videos.
Yeah.
Pretty much gone.
Yeah, it feels like we're watching this professional arms race now, especially between Google and OpenAI. And the stuff they're putting out, it's setting the bar for creative work.
That's exactly it. And today we're diving deep into the two big players right now, Google's VEO3 and OpenAI's Sora 2.
Right. And understanding these isn't just about listing features. It's really about seeing where content creation itself is heading.
So our mission today, and a big shout out to the Beyond Busy Work team for doing the heavy lifting on the research for this insightful learning, is to unpack the 8 key differences between VEO3 and Sora 2. We want you to finish this deep dive knowing which tool makes sense for your project, whether it's a quick ad or maybe something longer, like an educational piece. Yeah, we're going to go beyond just the surface stuff. We'll look at the sort of underlying thinking, the architecture, everything from 4K quality down to how well they simulate physics.
And definitely stick around to the end. We're going to talk about where these platforms are going next, their roadmaps. It's pretty fascinating how they're trying to one-up each other.
Yep, and we'll wrap with the ideal use cases, when you'd pick VEO, when you'd pick Sora.
Okay, let's get into it. So the big difference really seems to start with just their core philosophy, right?
Yeah.
What's the idea behind each one? Let's start with VEO3. What's Google aiming for?
Okay, so VEO3. Think precision, think polish. It's basically a state-of-the-art text-to-video system, but the focus is really heavy on immediate cinematic quality.
It's cinematic quality.
Yeah, and sticking really closely to the prompt you give it. So if you ask for something specific, visually, VEO is designed to nail that. And of course, it's built to plug right into the whole Google ecosystem.
So high-end, predictable results. Good for professional stuff.
Exactly. Very predictable.
Okay, so how does that compare to Sora 2? OpenAI's second go announced, September 30th, 2025. Their vision feels a bit bigger.
It does seem that way. Sora 2 isn't just positioned as a tool for making, single beautiful clips. It's framed more as a general-purpose video generation engine.
Okay, general purpose. What does that mean in practice?
Well, their big focus is on improving the physics realism, making things move like they should, and giving creators more control over longer sequences over a narrative.
So VEO is about the perfect shot. Sora is more about the believable sequence.
That's a good way to put it. VEO wants that instant, high-quality visual. Sora wants to build a kind of functional, believable world that can actually support a story unfolding over time.
Which brings us to how they got here, right? Their origins. People often say VEO, being Google, probably has this huge data advantage from, YouTube.
Right, that's a potential training data advantage, just sheer volume.
But Sora's counter is this world simulation idea.
Exactly. OpenAI seems to be looking at video not just as pixels changing over time, but trying to learn the underlying rules. How does motion work? How does physics work? How do scenes stay consistent?
So it's trying to understand the why behind the movement, not just copy the what.
Precisely. And that's what allows for things like, a character staying consistent across different shots or an object falling realistically. That needs more than just image recognition. It needs some grasp of, reality.
Okay, philosophy is one thing, but for creators on a deadline, specs matter a lot.
Absolutely.
So let's get into the nuts and bolts. Resolution versus length. That seems like a key battleground.
Yeah, this is maybe one of the clearest differences right now. VEO3, it really prioritizes resolution. It can go up to 4K.
Wow, 4K.
But, and this is the trade-off, that high resolution usually comes in shorter bursts. Think maybe around 8 seconds per clip. It's maximum quality but brief.
Okay, 8 seconds of pure 4K. Perfect for maybe a website hero video or a really punchy social ad.
Exactly, that kind of thing. Now, Sora 2, it launched supporting up to 1080p.
So HD, but not 4K.
Right. Still very good, but not 4K.
Right.
Sora's strength, or its focus anyway, was on duration and narrative flexibility. So longer video segments, better support for streaming multiple shots together. They prioritize telling a longer story over hitting that top pixel count immediately.
Okay, but I have to push back on the world simulation idea here then. If Sora is really modeling physics and consistency, why max out at 1080p? Doesn't simulating a world accurately demand higher fidelity? Is it just too computationally heavy right now?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It strongly suggests either a processing bottleneck or a very deliberate choice. I mean, imagine modeling detailed physics for, say, a full minute of video.
Yeah.
Doing that and rendering it all in 4K. The computational load must be immense. So Sora seems to have bet on depth and duration first, thinking that the ability to tell a coherent story will be more valuable to users initially than pure 4K clarity.
Interesting calculation. Okay, let's switch gears to audio. Because, man, silent AI videos were a dead giveaway just a short while ago.
Oh, yeah. And this is where VEO3 really scored points early. It features native synchronized audio. Meaning dialogue, background sounds, music. It's generated along with the video right in the same process. It's not something you have to painstakingly add later.
Okay, that sounds like a massive time saver in post-production.
Huge. Imagine generating a clip, like you said, someone walking on gravel. If VEO makes the crunching sound match the footsteps perfectly, how many hours does that save a team on a project?
Could be days, easily, especially if you're doing lots of versions for a client.
Exactly. However, Sora 2 has caught up fast here. The original Sora didn't have native audio, but Sora 2 does. It now includes synchronized sound, dialogue, better audio realism. They clearly knew that telling a story needs sound too.
Right, audio-visual continuity. Okay, so that gap is closing.
Definitely closing.
So we've moved from just listing features to how you'd actually use these things. And it really feels like VEO is for that perfect moment, and Sora is for stringing moments together.
That really sums up the ideal user profile, I think. VEO for precision, Sora for the story arc.
You know, it's funny. I was talking to a colleague just last week. She works in corporate training.
Okay.
And she was trying to create this internal video showing how a piece of complex machinery works. Lots of moving parts, needed to look realistic in sequence.
Ah, okay, yeah, that sounds like a classic Sora 2 use case.
That's exactly what she ended up trying, because the goal wasn't like super glossy 4K footage.
Yeah.
It was realistic behavior, how the parts interacted.
Right, and that's where Sora's world simulation focus potentially shines. Objects obeying gravity, physics looking believable.
Yeah, and keeping things consistent across multiple shots. Like if a lever moves in shot 1, it needs to stay moved in shot 2. For something complex like machinery or maybe sports footage, that consistency is key.
Absolutely. Now, VEO3 is no slouch visually. It gives you incredibly clean, consistent-looking shots and really smooth transitions. But if you need a character to, say, run, jump over something, land, and then pick up an object all generated, Sora's focus on maintaining that physical and narrative logic over time gives it an edge for that kind of continuous action sequence.
Okay, so this distinction really impacts how they handle prompts and control, doesn't it?
Massively. User reports generally say VEO3 is the king of precise control.
Meaning if you need a very specific look, like use an 85mm lens or match this exact lighting setup or output in this strict 16:9 aspect ratio for branding, VEO is apparently very good at sticking to those specific instructions. High fidelity to the prompt. So VEO is the reliable choice when you have strict client guidelines or brand rules.
Pretty much predictable workhorse, whereas Sora 2 offers more, let's call it, narrative flexibility, especially for prompts that describe a complex story or require multiple shots strung together.
So Sora's maybe better for creative exploration, trying out sequence ideas.
That seems to be the niche. If you're experimenting with how a story flows across cuts, Sora gives you more tools for that. But if you're, say, an enterprise needing to churn out lots of marketing clips with very specific requirements, VEO's predictability is probably more appealing.
Right. And actually, for anyone who follows our stuff, we touched on some of these evolving user needs in a recent piece in the Tech Bytes LinkedIn weekly newsletter. This deep dive is really digging into the why behind those observations.
Ah, nice plug. Okay, so let's talk workflow. If you're a producer needing hundreds of clips, speed and reliability are huge. Who wins there?
Generally, the word is that VEO3 tends to be a bit more reliable, maybe faster for high-volume work, fewer failed generations, which, on a tight deadline...
Oh yeah, failed generations are killer. That predictability matters.
It really does for commercial work.
And what about the tools themselves and getting access? The ecosystem.
Well, VEO3 obviously slots right into the Google universe.
Yeah.
If your team already uses Google Workspace, Drive, etc., the integration is likely pretty smooth.
Makes sense.
Sora 2, on the other hand, has strong ties through Azure AI Foundry and the wider OpenAI ecosystem.
Okay, Azure AI Foundry. For listeners who might not know that term, what's the significance? Sure. It basically means Sora 2 is deeply integrated into Microsoft's big enterprise cloud platform. So for large companies, development shops, anyone already heavily invested in Microsoft Azure for their infrastructure.
Ah, Sora becomes a very natural fit for them.
Exactly. It signals a difference in target market, perhaps. Google aiming broadly at creators and consumers, while OpenAI and Microsoft also have a strong enterprise focus for Sora. Okay, let's try and boil this down. If you're listening and trying to decide, when is VEO3 absolutely the right call? Okay, choose VEO3 when. Number one, you need that high-res 4K output, even if it's for shorter clips. Two, you want that native built-in audio to cut down on post-production fuss. And three, predictability and precise adherence to your prompt, maybe for client work or brand consistency, is paramount. Think precision, polish, short clips.
Got it. And when is Sora 2 the clear winner? Choose Sora 2 when. Your main goal is telling a story through narrative sequences. Think educational videos, complex explanations, or anything needing realistic physics and continuity across multiple shots. If you value that multi-shot workflow and creative freedom more than immediate 4K, and you're okay with potentially more iteration or post-work, Sora 2 is likely your tool. And weaknesses? Quickly, VEO is still limited on length, especially at 4K.
That seems to be the main constraint right now, yeah.
And Sora is the 1080p ceiling at launch, which could be an issue for purely cinematic projects.
Correct, though that might change, and both are generally available now, but access often depends on your plan, individual versus enterprise tiers, that kind of thing.
So what's next? It sounds like they're not standing still.
Not at all. What's really interesting is seeing how they're both aiming squarely at each other's strengths now. The roadmap suggests a real convergence.
Okay, so how's VEO planning to take on Sora's storytelling lead?
Reports suggest Google is pushing hard on VEO 3.1 specifically to address that. They're working on supporting longer videos, adding multi-shot capabilities, improving continuity, basically building the features that made Sora 2 stand out for narrative work.
They're going right after Sora's territory.
Looks like it.
And Sora, are they just defending or pushing further? They seem to be doubling down on their core advantage, that world modeling simulation. They're focused on enabling even longer video durations, making the physics simulation even more realistic and complex, and integrating Sora deeper into developer tools. They want that simulation engine to be fundamental. Fascinating. So VEO wants Sora's narrative chops. Sora wants to make its simulation indispensable.
That's the race right now.
Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up, it really feels like the choice between VEO 3 and Sora 2 right now comes down to your main priority.
Absolutely.
Need that 4K gloss, built-in sound, and reliable precision for client work. That points towards VEO.
Yep.
Need creative storytelling power, believable physics, and the flexibility to build complex sequences. That sounds more like Sora.
For now, yes. But like we said, those lines are blurring fast. But understanding that core intent precision versus simulation helps you choose today.
Definitely. And we really want to hear from you, the listener. Which tool grabs you more right now? Is it VEO 3 or Sora 2? And importantly, why? Let us know your thoughts, your use cases down in the comments. We genuinely enjoy reading them.
Yeah, absolutely. And if this deep dive helped clarify things about AI video, maybe give us a like and share it with anyone in your network who might find it useful. It really helps us keep doing these kinds of exploration.
And of course, hit that subscribe button for Beyond Busy Work so you don't miss our next deep dive into tech topics. Oh, and if you like this head-to-head comparison, check out our playlist. We did a similar deep dive looking at the state of generative AI coding tools. Also a really interesting space with competing approaches.
Definitely worth a listen. Okay, so before we go, one last thing to chew on.
Lay it on us.
Given that both VEO 3 and Sora 2 are clearly racing to match each other on key features like multi-shot, longer videos, continuity, could it be that the ultimate winner isn't decided by features at all?
What decides it then?
Maybe it comes down to which company owns the ecosystem where the users already are. Is it Google with its massive reach to creators and consumers? Or is it OpenAI, backed by Microsoft's huge enterprise footprint? Which ecosystem pull will be stronger in the end?
Ecosystem lock-in is the final frontier. That's something to think about.
Definitely.
All right, lots to consider as you plan your next video project. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. Until next time, keep digging deeper.